Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Debrief show on Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. I hope you're all well. As always, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and drop a like on the video because it does really help us. So normally what I do with this format of show, the Debrief show, this is when we've had a terrible result. I lose my mind, and then I feel like I've got to come on the next day and prove to you all that I'm not a raving lunatic to give a more balanced view. I feel like the reverse has happened because that's what happens. You know, like you have a bad result, you lose your mind, and then you wake up, the dust settles. You still got the ump. You know, it was a bad game, you lost, but you calm down and you realise it weren't, you know, quite as bad as you know. You made it sound like the world was ending the night before, but what I do anyway. But you know, yesterday what happened was that I had that feeling and I had that emotion at half time. Because it was awful. It was terrible. It was pathetic the way that he set that team up. We should have been dead and buried at halftime. We should have been. And it was a wonderful result. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to go on to say all of this as well. But I woke up this morning feeling the reverse. So I had the elation of the smash and grab win against a big team. I know they're not great, Man United, but they're a big club. And it always feels good to do that. And sometimes it feels even better to do it in a really shitty way, to beat them in a really crappy way, because they feel even more hard done by, and you feel like you've just staged a robbery. So it did feel quite sweet because on the balance of the game, we did not deserve it. Yes, we were better in the second half, but it did definitely feel like a robbery. It did, and I enjoyed it, and it gave me a lift that I personally, I think I needed myself. I've not had the best week. So I took that, and I know a lot of people don't like the word, I was buzzing for a little while. I was buzzing for a few hours afterwards. But then you sort of read all the comments, you see some reviews from other people as well, and I'm not criticising anyone. Anyone is entitled to interpret that however they want to, because it was far from great. It was awful. Anyone that is still full of concerns, they should be, because I've still got these concerns. This is what I'm saying to you. I'm recording this video after being happy the night before, but I woke up this morning thinking, oh. And do you know what I'm going to go back to? I'm going to go back to the last sack derby, the last P45 derby that I can remember. And that was the Aston Villa one when Steven Gerrard was the Villa manager. Whoever apparently lost that game, their manager was going to get sacked. We won. Villa sacked Steven Gerrard and they got Unai Emery in. Who really lost and who really won that game? That's the thing. Who were the real winners in that? I know we went on after that and we had the journey in the Conference Cup. But who were the real winners in that? Are we going to be seeing something similar with this? Time will tell, you know, because I do think that result is going to be enough for Man United to act. I think Ten Hag will be gone. I think Man United are a bit of a special case. I think that I don't know who's going to be able to come in and sort them out, but you don't know. You don't know. You know, they've done so much moving and shaking in terms of managers lately. Nothing's really worked for them since Fergie. So the odds are the next man that comes in is going to be a bit of a calamity as well. But you don't know. We could be looking back at this in 12 months' time going, oh, that could have been us. That could have been us. Because some of the managers that Man United are linked with, we're linked with as well. Just so you know. We are linked with as well. That probably will, I imagine, buy him some time. I don't think even Sullivan will look at that game and be relieved. No, he'll be relieved, but I don't think he'll think, yes, that's it, we're onto something here, because I don't feel like that now. I did make the mistake of watching the highlights last night, and it was even worse than I remembered when I was watching the game, and it was bad enough when I was watching it live, that first half. It was awful. It was so bad. So bad. We had no right whatsoever to still be in that game at half-time. And what really concerns me as well, because obviously one of the big things for people why we were so angry with that starting lineup was because we had no Kudus. So we're thinking Somerville's got to come in. He didn't. Why? Why didn't Somerville come in? He came on in the second half. He completely lit the game up for us. Now, there was an element of Man United having played on Thursday night. They were obviously going to tire. They were in Turkey. So they gave it their all for 45 minutes. They fluffed their lines. They should have been going in at least 3, but if they'd have been going in 5-0, nobody could have complained. They had that many clear-cut opportunities, but they just could not bury the ball. So they gave it their all in that first 45 minutes. They were always going to tire over the course of the game because they've got loads of injuries. They've got a bit of a threadbare squad at the moment. Now, what Lopetegui has kind of insinuated in the post-match interview is that he anticipated that Man United were going to tire, and he thought that that was the right time to introduce Jimmy. Now, look, you can't doubt that, of course. Bringing Jimmy on against tired legs, yeah, that's fine. But if you look at it another way, what he's saying is, I think I found the right way to use him. Is he saying that he wouldn't be able to do it against fit defenders? He wouldn't have been as effective if we'd have brought him on against a fit and organised team. He's an impact player. You bring him on and use him in that capacity, because that's kind of how I interpret it. And the fact that he set us up in that way again, this is the other thing, right? There was tons and tons of analytical breakdowns of what we've been doing at the start of this season, which has been why we've been going so wrong. Why are we so wide open? Why are we playing that way? And he set up the same way again. So ignore the starting lineup for a minute. He set us up in exactly the same way. He gave Ten Hag the easiest job in the world. He should have made Ten Hag look like an absolute genius, because all Ten Hag did was studied what he'd done in the last 3-4 games and developed a game plan to expose it. Start hitting balls through the middle, over the top, in the channels, every single time they were in. Every time they were in. It was embarrassing that he never even tried to address it in the first half. I mean, there is nothing about that win that was genius. It was all luck. And I used to say Moyes was lucky, but that was a different level of luck. We never got that sort of battering and never conceded. I mean, I suppose you could. We've been under siege before. I remember, like, when we was under siege against Arsenal and we beat Arsenal, and we was under siege against Tottenham and we beat Tottenham. But they were games in which we defended really well. So the other teams had the ball, they was all over us, but we were defending well, and they couldn't get through us. This was the opposite. We were defending terribly, and we was gifting them opportunity after opportunity. Not once in the course of 45 minutes, trying to sort of change the course of where that game looked like it was going. But we got away with it. That is luck. That is genuine luck. So I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Lopetegui, you can give him credit for making changes at halftime, but what choice did he have? What choice did he have but to make changes at halftime? He couldn't leave it as it was. It was only going one way. And he didn't just make personnel changes, he made tweaks to the system as well. We was more stable. We had more of what looked like more of a settled sort of back three, rather than Guido popping in and out, in and out, in and out all the time, like a jack in the box in between that. So we seemed like we had a lot more shape, you know. It was either Guido or Souček. We always felt like we had a bit of a back three. There was more shape. It was more sensible what we was doing in the second half. So it wasn't just a personnel change. It was a tactical change. And that has been the problem the whole way through this season. And when you come into this game and you look at what he did, right, I'm dropping Areola, I'm dropping Todibo, I'm dropping this player, I'm dropping that player. That is a man that is blaming his tools, not his system. That's what he's doing. He's saying it isn't my system that's broken. It's, you know, a bad workman will always blame his tools. He's blaming the players. So he made those changes. Yes, Fabianski came in, fantastic. He was brilliant. Areola has not been good this year. I still feel sorry for him for being dropped. He should have been Hammer of the Year last year. This is not a crap keeper, but this system has been making everyone within it look terrible. Absolutely everyone. And Fabianski was fantastic. He's a bit of a legend, that guy, and he's 39 years old, and some of those saves, one in particular, that corner that was whipped in ferociously from Eriksson, flicked on, and the reactions was just insane. 39 years old. The man's a cat. He's a cat. But no, I'm kind of, I'm feeling downbeat now. I am, because we've been through this before. We've had this before with Moyes over and over again, where how many times have we been there where you're feeling really down, the football's crap, and then somehow they get a win and you think, well, that's it, we're going to kick on, and we never do. And I just feel like it's going to be like that with this guy. You know, I don't feel like there's any admission from him that his system is the problem. So I think we're going to see it again. He's going to keep doing it. And it can't just be that he only knows how to play one football. I think this is just stubbornness now, because obviously for him to bin what he's been doing, he would have to accept that his plan was wrong and not suited to this group of players. So it's like there must be like a certain level of arrogance here with these guys. They can play more than one style. Of course they can. It's all about wanting to be proven right, I think. That's what it boils down to. But sort of coming up against Newcastle, even Everton, I think you're coming up against two teams that maybe haven't got as much going forward, even though Man United can't score. They were threatening going forward, weren't they? They was opening us up with ease. But I think these are better teams. You know, even Everton. Everton are a real tough defensive unit. They're not easy to play against. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get anything done against these teams. But I know I'm rambling. What I'm trying to say is, I just feel like that's a dead cat bounce. I know we won, and I'm glad that we beat Man United. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to do us any real benefit in terms of the league table. I don't see us finishing anywhere higher than between 10th and 15th. I think that's going to be where we finish under this guy. Whatever happens, we're not going to get relegated. We're not cracking that top 10 with him. So ultimately, I don't feel like the result really matters over the course of the season. But what it has done is it's given extra life to prolong this misery. Because ultimately, I genuinely feel like this guy's going to fail. I do. The more I look at it, and the more I look at the game yesterday, I think the guy's going to fail. You know, Jimmy sorted that out yesterday. He came on and lit the place up. It was Somerville. He came on. He was absolutely fantastic. Not just the goal, but even some of his playmaking. You remember when he picked the ball up in sort of a central area? You got Emerson overlapping, and he makes a lovely, perfectly weighted reverse pass to Emerson to run onto. Emerson probably should have smashed it low and hard across the keeper. Didn't finish it. Shot straight at the keeper. So he should have had a goal and an assist. He made everything happen in that game. It was nothing to do with genius from Lopetegui. It really weren't. The commitment was there from the players. You have to give them that, you know. Well, actually, I'm not criticising the team, any of the players. I think the players always want to give it their all for the fans. You know, they're always going to want to go out and beat Man United. Wan-Bissaka, unbelievable. Bearing in mind, I criticised his defending last week. He's jockeying. Well, that was one of the best defensive performances that I've probably seen since Dawson against Leon. Some of those recovery tackles were outrageous. He was on fire. He was everywhere. Even running up the wing, he's tricky. He looks good. He's a threat. Can't cross a road, but that is one flaw that I'm assuming they're going to work on, because, you know, you can't have everything, because he has got literally everything else. He just can't cross. You know, he can't cross. I'm hoping they work on that, because if we're going to start using him in a more attacking capacity, he's got the athleticism, he's got the tricky feet. If he can just become more useful in that final third, we've got an amazing wing back there. But at the moment, I don't think you're going to get many assists off of him. But defensively, wow, what a player! What a player he was. So look, I don't know where I'm going with this, really. You know, like I said to you, I needed some good news yesterday. That's how I felt. The first half really fucking pushed me over the edge. The second half was a huge release. Wonderful. We've won. Come on, get in. Didn't deserve it. Even better. Dodgy VAR. Even better. Love it. You know? But then you reflect on it and you're like... And if it was in isolation, if it was just one game, you would just take it and go, yeah, love it. I'm going to enjoy that. But it's not in isolation. We've been crap for ages. Not just under Lopetegui. This is a continuation now. We've been crap for a year. We've been crap for a year. Nothing's really changed in terms of our level of shitness, you know. Maybe slight adjustments with football, but in terms of, you know, on the crap scale, we're crap. Still. So no, that's where I am at the moment. I'm really happy. I'm really pleased we got the win. It was lovely to get one over on Man United. But time will tell. In 6 months' time, are we going to be looking back on this game? Because this will be the one that saves him. It won't be beating Ipswich. It'll be getting a big scalp. And Man United, whether they're crap or not, they're a big scalp. It'll be that one that saves him and gives him more time. So will we be looking back in 6 months and going, that game against Man United, did we win that? Or were we the losers? because Man United go out, get a new manager, they push on up the league, get into Europe, and we stay stranded in between 10th and 15th, having a miserable time. Like I said, can't predict the future. None of us know what's going to happen. Loppy could prove us all wrong still. I thought that we could win that game yesterday. I did say that. I said they're both two crap teams. You know, wouldn't be surprised if either one won. I didn't think we'd win in that way, and I didn't think that Man United would blow us off the park like they did in the first half. It didn't go like anything like I would have imagined it would have gone. It was a mental game. But yeah, I'm just really confused, people. I'm confused. I'm a confused West Ham fan. I'm not a happy West Ham fan. I'm not. I feel like we're going to be stuck and locked in another miserable situation, which is a continuation of the miserable situation we had under Moyes. And I just feel like the little dwarf, who knows it ain't right. He knows it ain't right. He'll just ride it out, just so it saves him paying a bloke off a couple of million when he's going to be losing a fortune in Premier League places, you know, because that's small change. Even if you pay him off, it was 7 million, I think. No, it's less than that. It's about 6 million to pay him off for his last 18 months. He's on just over 3 million a year. I thought it was more than that, but it's not. Well, every place that you drop in the Premier League is worth a fortune. So if we end up finishing 17th versus 10th, I mean, what is the point in that? You talk about a false economy. So yeah, but Sullivan, it's all about his ego rather than money. I think he's just going to hang on in the hope that it goes all right, you know, and he'll hang on long enough so that he can pin it on someone else and blame it on someone else for it failing. He knows he's messed up. He knows he has. But yeah, look, sorry for the hysteria correction. I shouldn't really have done this one. No, we should all be allowed to enjoy it. I mean, I did enjoy the win. I just woke up feeling miserable the next day. And I shouldn't be. Why is that? Am I just a miserable git? Anyway, look, I'll speak to you all soon. Come on, you ones.